little bit punchy right now because we have been recording Táve things for you for how long? Hang on, we started at we're 5 hours into recording Táve things.
5 hours.
Oh, by the way, this is Nicole.
You probably know my name, maybe
this
not my
is
face.
Nicole Hoffman. You have seen us if you are in the Wedding School Facebook group. Ooh, I can hear myself. That's terrible. If you're in the Wedding School Facebook group, you have seen Nicole answer very helpful questions about Táve, but you actually work for Táve.
Yes.
What do you do there?
Full time. I am the lead of customer service.
You're also a wedding photographer.
I'm also a wedding and portrait photographer. So I started out as a Táve user. Now I've been working full time now for Táve for 3 years.
You were so helpful that they hired you.
Yep.
That's actually true.
And it's how I manage that and running my business at the same time. So
yeah. And we thought, let's get together and let's make just some fun videos on how to set up your Táve. And I'm not joking when I say that we have been at it for about 5 hours at this point. And we're not done at all. We're so not done that I have actually asked Nicole to come back on a completely separate other day to film a multi-hour video on automations and how they can change your life. And because we just said it to you live, she now has to do it. That's how that works, right?
Yep, I'm all about it.
But what I don't think you understand is how much we both love this. Just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, I have tried every single studio management software out there. I was a hardcore power user of the old Shoot Q for a decade, at least. I used 17 Hats when 17 Hats was new and awesome. I have signed up for trials of literally if you suggest it, I've probably signed up for a trial and looked at it. And I kept coming back to Táve, and I kept coming back and coming back, mostly because Emily Pogozelski just would not shut up about it. And I was like, fine, Emily, fine. I'll just sign up for this Táve thing and use it. And once I got in, I was very intimidated because there's a lot to set up. But then I realized that the time that I spent to set this up, while it looked complicated, it actually wasn't. But then once I set it up, I could do so much more with it that you can't even remotely compare it to something like a 17 Hats or a Dubsado or a Honeybook or anything, because the potential of what Táve can do is just so above and beyond what everything else can do. And it's not just, can you send invoices and do contracts? Of course you can. And can you book your clients through it? Of course you can. And, can you set up a workflow? Yes, of course you can. But not only can you set up a workflow, you can set up a workflow for the deliverables in every single custom product that you add to someone's package. They can all have their own workflows. And you can have your workflows talk to other things, and you can have your questionnaires talk to your workflows, and you can have your questionnaires talk to your automations. And just the cross-pollination of everything in your account is so powerful that it's intimidating, but it's also what makes it amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you as a wedding photographer, you're not a Táve employee turned wedding photographer. You're a wedding photographer turned Táve employee.
Yep.
And you use it for your, if you want to see just dead sexy stuff, look at the inside of her Táve, because she's got it doing things. She's teaching. I know how to use Táve, you guys. I have notes to improve my account just on the basic stuff that we've been talking about so far, and we're not even done. But we wanted to go live, and we wanted to take some questions that were common questions that people had about Táve and answer them. So we've got about 15 minutes to demystify some things for you. And we will let you know if any of the questions that you have we've answered here, because the video that we are doing here, it is, what the heck is it? It is Wednesday, April 18th. This will all be online for you by the 23rd. So we're gonna have this up for you next week. So do you mind taking some questions?
Sure.
Phenomenal. If you've been using Táve to less than its full potential, what's the best way to bring it up to speed?
Oh boy, there's so many options.
I mean, I'd say watch what we've done here.
Oh yeah, I mean, our content for sure will make sure they're touching on every area to its full potential. I would say, number one, do that. Number two, definitely reach out if you're ever questioning anything.
Because you do walkthroughs.
Support, yeah, we do walkthroughs for new users. We do support sessions for more experienced users. And yeah, we will gladly hop on a screen share with you and go through your troubles and your questions.
Or also, I feel like if someone reached out and said, can you take a look at my account and help me out and show, help me figure out where I might personally need to take it up another level, they could schedule a time with you and you could say, so listen, I've looked at everything, but you don't really have questionnaires going on.
Yep, I get that question a lot. Yeah, I get that question a lot. So yeah, I can see if you're not using workflows at all, or what happens a lot is even like existing users that have been around for a while, they maybe don't stay up to date on some of our newer updates or, new features.
Anybody like that at all. Nobody could have possibly taken a page and a half of notes on just basic instructions.
So yeah, it's common to get behind. Like you're busy, you're running your business, even though Táve's hopefully doing a lot of it for you. But I kind of tell everybody, like, stay up to date on our changelog and see what new things we're doing.
How do you find the changelog?
It's in the footer of your account at the very bottom. Yeah. So you can see every change the developers make.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you can see.
Can you request
everything.
Custom features? Like, what if there's something that you really want that Táve doesn't do? How do you do that?
Yes, of course. So we request that you request those feature requests in support message. So at any time in your account in the help menu, there's an option to message us. That's where you go to let us know what you maybe want to see, or if something you don't think is behaving properly or something in your account. Any of those types of requests, get them to us there, and then we actually personally tag your account with those. And as soon as the developers close out one of those tickets and either fulfill that request or fix a little bug or something, I personally will notify you as soon as it's been done. So that's the best way to make sure you're on top of those things that you really want. But yeah, other big things we do, we always announce them if they're big.
And you've got a very robust users group that honestly, there are so many users groups out there that either censor the things that their members say, or they don't have team members that are there actually responding to things. But you guys do. Not only do the users, like those of us who love Táve, and we like to help everybody out because we want you all to use it, unless you live in New York and you shouldn't use it. Just stay unorganized if you live in New York, that would be great. Or New Jersey, just quit now. Just leave it all to us. But if you have questions, like the users group is so robust that you should get in there.
And we try to chime in as much as we can. So we are active in there. If you ever have anything urgent, definitely send us a direct message by support. Only because of the nature of Facebook and the way things kind of get lost in there. And we don't censor things, like we literally don't delete posts.
No, and people have come in and complained, and it sparked good discussion, and so don't be afraid of them, they're good people.
All conversation is good conversation, so.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So, big question, and people ask this a lot, we talked about this earlier today, you and I, does Táve integrate with QuickBooks, and why don't I care? I added the last part in myself. Does it integrate with QuickBooks? Why or why not? And if it doesn't, why should you use Táve? Because somebody further down in here said, why would you use Táve in conjunction with QuickBooks? Well, first of all, just to clear things up, Táve is completely different from QuickBooks. It's not the same type of software. But why doesn't it integrate, and why isn't that a problem for you? Because I can tell you why it's not a problem for me, and it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I personally have never used QuickBooks. I've literally only used Táve since day one in my business. Táve can handle all of the essential bookkeeping for you. So it's not required to use something like QuickBooks or Xero or the other accounting software alongside. However, I was saying to you earlier, there are going to be people who have either been trained that way or have been established for years using QuickBooks for their accounting. So that totally makes sense that you want to, continue using it. What we've had right now, we've had a lot of people do is export their general ledger often. So in Táve, your general ledger report is exportable to CSV, and there's tons of data in there. All your income and expense transactions are all in there. And you can upload that, I think, into other software like QuickBooks and some other ones. So that's usually the best way if you really want to use that to have the bank syncing.
So it doesn't integrate, but you can
export and import.
So in a way, based on the letter of the words, it kind of does integrate, because you have a way to get the information out and then in. They just don't talk to each other. And honestly, to me, so what? If I have to export a CSV and upload the CSV
once a month,
and it does it, I can create an automation to remind me to do that.
There you go,
There you go.
Yeah, so it's not needed, but there are people who may not know that you can do some of the same things in Táve that you don't need a separate software for, but or it's just that's their preference and they want
their
to stick
accountant's
to
preferences.
it. Yeah, or their accountant's preference. Yeah.
Yeah. Some other just quickie little questions. We got a lot of this here. What's the most painless procedure to switch from Shoot Q to Táve? What about switching from 17 hats to Táve? How do you switch? How do you switch? How do you switch? Because people will find themselves years into software that they don't necessarily like, but you're kind of trapped there.
Yeah.
How do you, I can tell you my process, and then you could maybe tell me what you recommended. What I did was I brought over all of my current clients, everyone who is in the process of a workflow, like immediately post-wedding, and everybody who was current and upcoming. I manually moved them all over. And then we exported our data out of ShootQ, because you can do that out of ShootQ. And anytime anybody came back from like a year prior or 2 years prior to order their album, at that point in time, we would bring their information in and manually set them up and do them that way. And there has to be a point wherein your desire to be on a better platform is more than your fear of switching platforms. So if you bring everyone who's current and upcoming and export out everything from your old account, there will be a point. I recommend leaving your old account open for a while. I think we left my 17 hats open for like a year. And my Shoot Q is still open because we, a million years ago, paid for lifetime access, but we haven't touched. I can't think of the last time we logged into our Shoot Q. So you'll realize maybe you're gonna double pay a little bit, but there will be a point in which you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And then you can export it out and back it all up and let it all go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got so excited I pushed the table. I've been doing that a lot today.
I usually recommend to people too that are coming from another software is to pick a date and go from there on. So you don't need, if you've been in business for 10 years, you don't need to get every single thing in Táve, although that would be amazing. And I'm lucky enough that I started my business on Táve.
Well, good for you.
So I literally have every penny in my account, but not everybody is gonna be in that situation. So I always tell people, like, pick a date. A lot of times, like, January 1 is a great date because in this way, come the following year's taxes and all those reports, you have everything from that year in there. But when it comes to the actual transition, definitely get whatever you can out of your existing software and any type of export or file format.
Whatever you have to do, because if it's old contracts, like you need to get your old contracts out.
For sure.
Even if you have to manually go in and manually print your old contracts and your old invoices to PDF, you should be backing those up anyhow. I love you guys. I trust you. I still back up all of my client contracts offline. Because I just think I back up all of my digital files in multiple places. Why wouldn't I have my sensitive client data in multiple places? Definitely.
And then when it comes to actually getting them over, due to the nature of the different software, we don't have a compatible import that will work with everything. However, you can import all of your contacts from your address book, which I totally recommend. After I tell every new user, once you're set up with all the settings and those types of configurations, the best next step before you're ready to start interacting with clients through Táve is to get your contacts imported into your address book. And that saves a huge amount of time in putting in their information in those leads and jobs you're creating for them as you transition some of those over. So that is a huge time saver.
Yes.
And really, it's going to be a little data entry, but I tell people all the time, that's the best way I learned how to use the software. Like, as I was entering those existing bookings and logging what they booked with me, and having everything built correctly in your settings will automate a lot of that. So once you have your products established and your quote templates and all that, it'll make it easier.
We're not here to tell you this isn't going to suck. There is nothing that is fun about data entry, unless you're me, and I actually really enjoy that.
No, I like it.
But if you are really unhappy with what you are using, stop using it, because it's just going to make you miserable. And I would rather get set up now and know that I'm using something right now and look back 10 years from now and be like, well, all of my data is in Táve and I'm happy. Export what you can and get out. And what we have been recording for you all day long today, like the next question that we have here is, I'm on my free trial and I would love to learn everything, but especially initial setup, it feels overwhelming. That's what we've been recording for you. We literally have an entire lineup of everything we've been recording so that if you are logging in and you're looking at it and you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to get started, by Monday, we're gonna have all of this information in the learning library and you can sit down and watch it over and over and over again. So a lot of the questions here were, why Táve? Why should we use it? How do I set it up? Do you have any suggestions? And my suggestions are just do it.
Yeah.
Just set the time. We will have these videos for you. Watch 15 minutes of video a day. Do only those things. And by the time you're done with your trial, you'll be set up and ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. We broke down the videos into smaller, like 20-minute, 30-minute chunks so that you can go in that order and you'll slowly build it as you watch them. Yeah. So definitely follow those
and
orders.
then there's great questions in here. Like someone said, best way to utilize Táve when you have a consultation with a client and they would like to book. We literally just recorded
just talked about that. Yeah.
So there are so many questions in here that are like, are there any way to send out automations? Okay, does workflow remind me of needed tasks, or can it automatically send automation emails? It can do whichever you want.
Yeah, yeah. So workflow, one misconception people sometimes have, especially coming from other software that maybe uses different terminology or the same terminology but in a slightly different way. A lot of times people overlap workflow and automations. So in Táve, workflow is kind of more for the things that you manually have to take care of, things that Táve can't do for you.
Cull your weddings.
Yeah, culling your weddings. So those things you want a task in your workflows for. And then I tell everybody that when they're just getting started, put everything you do in your workflows. And then as you start to explore more about automations, you can learn, hey, Táve can actually do that email for me, or they can send that questionnaire for me.
This thing I keep manually doing.
And then take it out. Take it out of the workflow altogether and just set up an automation for it. And we can help you with that, of course. But yeah, workflow and automation, they go hand in hand. But sometimes there's a little overlap there. And somebody did actually ask, I remember looking earlier about automations for emails that they don't want to trigger always. Like they want to draft it kind of.
I really want to utilize automations, but I'm afraid an email will be sent that requires more specific details than the template I set up. It would be awesome if I received either a text or email that said an email is ready to be sent, and there is a link to where I click it and the email template addressed to that person pops up and I can customize it.
Yes. So that is one of my favorite things to automate.
You can do that.
You can draft, yeah. So for those who don't know, because I know there are some of you out there, your emails, I do this all the time. For things I need to automate, but I need to maybe change like something in the language, or I want to personalize it. Like the best case for me is follow-ups. I sometimes either don't want to follow up with somebody, or maybe I want to like add a little something personal in there.
Like after a meeting, maybe.
Yeah, so after a consultation, or even just an initial follow-up after the lead came in. In the automation, if you're sending an email action, instead of sending immediately, there's an option there to send it, or to set it to draft. And that will just draft the email for you on that morning. Táve will notify you that morning in your daily automation notification email. And then you can actually even add a little tile on your dashboard in the Right Now widget for drafts, because you have a draft sidebar. So that is what I do. So every time I have any drafts in my account, I see them front and center at the top of my dashboard. I check them out. I either hit send or change it a little before sending, or I delete it if I just don't want to, if I change my mind and don't want to send that email. But a lot of my email automations, I do it that way. I do it so they draft instead of send. And a lot of people too in the beginning, when you're kind of just starting to trust Táve and get used to it, I tell everybody, if you're nervous about sending those automated emails, set them all to draft. And then this way you can feel comfortable that the tokens that you're using are correct, and the information is going incorrect and out correct.
So someone wanted to know, is there any way to like auto-generate a wedding day timeline? And I think they asked it over here also.
Oh, email templates.
Something about a timeline. I might have just seen it only in one place. No, I think that was, she only asked it in one spot, which was, like, is there any way to, based on information they give you, auto-generate a timeline for them? I'm pretty sure you could hack that together somehow.
Well, so I do that with my crazy email template, which a version of that is in the template gallery. But yeah, between questionnaires, which is the perfect way to gather a lot of that information for the timeline, which we went over in the really awesome video on questionnaires.
Based on ceremony start time and reception start time and whether or not they want to do a first look, it could kick out a pre-generated timeline.
Yeah, and it'll pull all that information in. So using tokens in your questionnaire is huge. Because that'll build out the schedule for you. And the key to that, and what I always recommend, especially people in the wedding industry, is to have very specific event types.
Yes.
So we covered this in our content.
And I keep wanting to say, like, you'll get to see all of this in the videos, because you will.
Yeah, you will. But the event types, what I do for weddings is I have them broken down into 6 event types on an average wedding. So it's prep time for each of the couple, each partner. And then I have a family formals event type. I have a portrait/first look portrait event type. I have a wedding ceremony and a wedding reception separate event types.
Hey, that ports right into the question someone just asked.
Yeah.
I have questionnaires I send to my wedding clients, and then I send them a timeline. Are there tokens where the questionnaire answers can fill in a timeline?
Yes.
Yes, and I know there are, because mine do.
Yep.
And mine do because you taught me how.
Yep. Yeah,
because I wrote a terrible questionnaire that didn't work at all, and then I scheduled a time with you, and you told me why I was dumb, and we fixed it.
Yes. So yeah, using tokens is key in your questionnaires. That's how I pull in all the schedule information. I even secretly pass on notes to my brides and grooms in the questionnaire that kind of hints at what I want them to do, getting ready and timing things. But yeah, that's the best way to build your schedule in Táve for you. And then you could push all that into an email template that's really pretty and maybe have it like in a table. And that's what I share with my team members and my clients to kind of confirm the whole flow of the day, their family formals, all of that. And we have in the template gallery within your account, you can actually download a version of my email template. And a version of my wedding prep questionnaire, which is where I gather a lot of that, as well as what else comes with that? With that questionnaire comes a lot of cool custom fields and things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because it was when you taught me what custom fields were and what they could do. Now, for example, just to give a little bit of a heads up, with a custom field, I actually now have my proofing URL with Zenfolio and my proofing password as custom fields, so that I now send the emails that say your gallery is ready through Táve, not through Zenfolio. And the second I send that to the clients, I then have an email that goes out to every single vendor that says, here's the gallery, this is how you can use the email. So I can share to clients and share to vendors in less than 5 minutes.
Yep.
Shannon just said, can you build this for me? I'm crying on the inside, you're exploding my brain. Shannon, you can build this for yourself. Like, we're literally about to have the videos for you.
You're gonna walk through it.
And then we're gonna give you about a month to digest those videos, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna have automation day.
Oh yeah, and that will make your brain
And if you think
explode.
you're crying on the inside right now, like, I will literally, there was one point in time during today's recording that I actually had to pick a few hairs off of your shoulder, because when we cut to her screen, I sort of cuddled on her like this and then like shed my hairs on her. I love organization, and if there's anything that I can do to make my life more organized in a way that gives my clients a better experience, I'm going to do it. And all of these automations, it's not so that I can be lazy and not run my business. It's so that I can actually run my business in a much more efficient way that gives my clients better customer service.
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
Automation day, someone get me a spatula. I need to scrape my brains off the ceiling. Stephanie Sanju, do not explode before automation day.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome.
I mean, I feel like for automation day, we need like a confetti cannon and maybe like a pony that just occasionally parades through here. because it's going to be
awesome.
So what we're going to do for Automation Day, just a little bit of a spoiler, is we're going to ask you, what do you want to automate? And then we'll go live. The whole thing will be live, and we'll show you how to build these automations that you want, ones that we think that you should have, because apparently there are automations out there that I didn't know I needed until I heard you speak, and then I was like, I would like to learn how to do those things, please. And then we'll take customer requests. What do you want to do? Like, what do you want Táve to do for you? We can show you how to build it.
Or things that you don't even know if Táve can do it, and you just want to see if it's possible, or I don't know.
So get
excited.
We'll
take anything.
We're going to drop these multi-hours of setup videos on you, unless you think that these are just for beginners. I literally took, and I'm not kidding, a page and a half of notes, and I've been a power user for almost 2 years. And I took notes on things that I really need to do. So we want to give you guys some time to take in these videos that we're creating so that when you come back for Automation Day, you don't have to learn, oh, now I have to go back to job type, oh, now I have to go over here, what is over here? You've got all of that dialed in so that we can sit down for hours and just make your life even better.
Yep.
So
I can't wait.
Literally every single question that you had, we are answering in the videos that we're doing today. We wanted to get you psyched up for Automation Day and to let you know that by the 23rd of April 2018, all of these instructional videos will be here for you online. We highly suggest that you join the Táve users group. It is a wonderful Facebook group. You're really going to like people over there. What is the Susan Stripling code? What would that do for them?
Oh, yes. So if you do create a new Táve account, right from our website, there is a coupon code box there. And so you will want to put in Susan Stripling, all one word, capitals, and that will get you 20% off for a monthly subscription for your first year.
Yep.
So essentially starting at $20 a month, your lowest paid employee ever.
It's true.
Yeah, it's totally worth
Shannon
it.
just said client portals. Do you go into that? We did.
Oh, yes.
We did.
Yeah.
We did, in fact, go into that. We literally just talked about that.
We just talked about it.
And we would love to stay here and keep talking to you, but we can't because we have to finish talking about reports, sidebar reports, email templates, and automations. So we're going to go away. We just wanted to give you a little bit of a teaser, answer a couple of your questions, let you know what we've got coming. And I will be back, I promise, with more information about Automation Day, which is going to become a national holiday.
Yes.
Táve Automation Day. We were pretty psyched about that, but we got to go finish our tutorial series first.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys soon, and have a good Wednesday.